much, everyone, for the invitation to join you this evening. It really is a real pleasure, a real privilege. I've been looking forward to this so much. And that's partly because I have been a chaplain in the past. It's not part of my current appointment, but in the past I've been involved in workplace chaplaincy, industrial chaplaincy, as one of the chaplaincy team at the NEC group. I think I spotted David Butterworth on the call, and David is currently chaplain there, so he'll be able to tell you lots of ways it's developed since. But I spent lots of time being in those venues. Usually for me, it was being with folk like those involved in catering and hospitality, with the cleaning staff, with the people who did all the complex technical rigging up and taking down before and after events. And it was one of the most treasured but also challenging experiences that I've had in ministry. So I want to say thank you for all that you do, and that I recognise and treasure the gifts that you offer. Chaplaincy is a calling, and I think it is one that requires particular gifts and skills, because it is not easy. It's not easy to commit to just being without an agenda in a world which wants us to focus so often on tasks and define roles and deadlines. It is not easy to keep waiting with patience on the days when it feels as though no one particularly wants to talk, and sometimes we even doubt our own self and our own calling. It's not easy to feel that we are perhaps rejected and unwanted. But then suddenly comes someone who really needs a conversation, who really wants to share. To be able to hold that space for people of all faiths and none is a huge privilege. But we hear all that, don't we? And sometimes we don't know at the start what it is that we're going to hear about the person's pain, the isolation, the struggle, sometimes even the hopelessness, and just sometimes a story of joy and hope and celebration and a sense of, I'm taking a brave step forwards and I don't know what next. It's hard to listen and hold all of those fragments, but that's what chaplains are called to do. I just want to share an image, excuse me, a piece of artwork that was created by someone who is a Methodist minister and herself a former chaplain, the Reverend Jenny Spige. Jenny created this, excuse me, artwork and entitled it Hidden Treasures. Let me just see if I can share. And Jenny said that in creating this artwork, she was thinking about times when she herself was struggling, feeling really down, struggling with her mental health, wondering what it was that she was called to do and be. And she created this artwork called Hidden Treasures from scraps and fragments of fabric, cloth, other pieces of textile, wool, and found herself placing them together intentionally in this formation. So we see all around this sense of darkness, of a lack of clarity, and then in the middle, this brighter, burning light emerging from within. I love the way she's found all of these different scraps and fragments. She's brought them together and she has created something beautiful out of fragments, pieces that others might have thrown away. I think that's something about what chaplains are called to do and be. We take communities that perhaps wouldn't otherwise be brought together, and we create spaces where people can be valued, can feel listened to, can feel that they have worth and meaning, and a sense of what hope might lie ahead for them. Part of our role, I think, as chaplains is also to offer that prophetic voice back into our congregations and our churches. We bring the concerns of the world, the realities of the world, back into our worshipping communities. We also show how we might all better live out our faith in both words and action. Because just as we see Jesus do time and again in the Gospels, chaplains are called to be alongside, share with others, be vulnerable ourselves, We're called to be the guest, not the host, the listener, not the bringer of knowledge. We play a part in creating communities where hope and light can be found, to change a culture to one of care, where everyone is treasured. It can be tricky to find ways to speak truth to power, but sometimes that's exactly what our churches and communities need in these changing times. Your gifts as chaplains are needed in the world, in the communities in which you serve, and also in our churches, as we discern who we are, what God is calling us to do next. Chaplaincy is something to be treasured.